think we're streaming everywhere now. We're supposed to be streaming. Um, yes, I'm on time. Welcome. Sound is good, Jay. Thank you. Where you at, Jay? Tonight is Monday, Tuesday. You're at home. You're at home. Jay, you're at home. What's up, attorney? My attorney. Yeah, my attorney, not an attorney. My attorney on the East West Coast. Um, First, welcome. Conversation with TNathan, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm your host, TNathan, so this must be our conversation. You can catch me on here, you can catch me there, you can catch me on GCPR Network also at the same time. We're simulcasting. But as always, something came up that I wanted to check with my friends on the West Coast. I was friends in Hawaii also. There was an 8.8 magnitude earthquake in Kamchatka, an sparsely populated coastal area of Russia. And it is sending out tsunami warnings all the way to Japan, to the west coast of the United States, Alaska, of course, and Hawaii. So if you're in those areas, just in case you didn't know, I'm sure if you're on the west coast, you knew that. But here's a little, we're gonna play this brief.
Breaking news at 5:30, a tsunami watch now along the West Coast. We bring in First Alert Chief Meteorologist Nick Marianos to break this down. Nick, what are we seeing? And I'm assuming this is rare, right?
Yeah, well, right now we're getting reports of a powerful earthquake way on the other side of the Pacific, right? So right now we're looking to see if there's a tsunami that was triggered, and then subsequent warnings will follow. So the Tsunami Warning Center is watching this very carefully. But as of right now, a tsunami watch has been posted for the entire span of the U.S. West Coast. This does include the San Francisco Bay Area until further notice. So I'll zoom out here. You can see the watches do include the entire span of the coast of California, as well as Oregon and Washington State, from an earthquake registered as a preliminary magnitude 8.7 right here from the coast of Russia. So the tsunami alerts have been extended all the way across much of the Pacific. The state of Hawaii is under a tsunami warning right now. But again, the west coast of the United States, including the San Francisco Bay Area, is under a tsunami watch. So again, all this information is just coming out, and we'll continue to monitor that, let you know as soon as we report more, along with the reports of the buoys regarding confirmation whether or not tsunami was triggered from that 8.7 quake.
Get that information pretty soon.
All right, so there you have it. That's what's going on right at this moment. They're anticipating it at 1:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on the West Coast, you're in Hawaii, and Okinawa, friends in Okinawa, place of my birth. If you all are in these places, be on notice that there is tsunami a tsunami warning in some areas and an alert in others. West Coast is all under alert right now. Hawaii is under a warning. Japan is under a warning. So, like I say, it was 8.8, um, and that's preliminary. It probably is one of the most powerful earthquakes that has been recorded in the last 20 years, I believe. Uh, there was a 9.7 about 20 years ago, but I'll check into those. Greetings, Reese. You're under a tornado. You're under a tsunami alert. Also, you're under a tsunami alert. I'm asking my kids to evacuate the bay. Safety, safety. Yes, like I say, this is why I don't live on the West Coast, um, because I can't outrun the earth or towering, towering waves of water. Uh, Can't do it. I just don't know. I don't get enough. I would be technically, as soon as the 8.8, they had told me an 8.8 earthquake happened off the coast of Kamchatka, I would have left California. Yeah, I just, I'm leaving California. I don't care. If they said 8.8, if they said 5.7, I'm probably leaving California and the whole West Coast if I was visiting. Yep. Uber. I'm gonna Uber to Las Vegas, and I'm gonna catch a flight out of there whenever they have one of them. Yeah. Uh, so that's what's going on the West Coast right now. Yeah, that's yeah. It's interesting you said surf, right? Because I remember Hurricane Camille. I remember my grandmother talking about Hurricane Camille when it struck the coast of Mississippi. the year I was born. And she was talking about how certain people were on the beach having hurricane watch parties, and they were talking about the surf because stupid people should be allowed to die. That's my thing. I think if we let stupid people do stupid shit and die, we would be much better off. But she said they never heard from them again. Yeah, they wanted to have a hurricane watch party on the beach of Mississippi when the at the time before Katrina, the largest historical storm to hit the coast of Mississippi struck. And of course, they have never been heard from any more than Jimmy Hoffa has been. But I'm a firm believer. Yeah, stupid people should be allowed to swallow Tide Pods. We should stop putting warning labels on bleach. I'm for all that. Not even laughing and joking. I'm for all that. All that. Darwin and Darwin social Darwinism and accident Darwinism should be a thing. I said what I said. I said what. And as you can tell, I'm probably not in a good mood as far as laughing, joking, because I was dead serious about stupid people dying. But there's a lot of things going on that I want to talk about tonight, and one of them is that Benjamin Netanyahu needs to be arrested for war crimes. If you, I know. Slow down, teenage. Benjamin Netanyahu needs to be arrested for war crimes. I said it. I mean it. I stand by it. Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu got his translucent troglodyte pretender Jew ass up. I said it. I said it. His ass up and said that there is no famine in Gaza. There is no starvation going on in Gaza. And you got people running around defending him, talking about Israel is not stopping aid from getting into Gaza. Like we not believe our eyes when we're looking at aid not getting into Gaza. And his reason, well, if we wouldn't allow it to get aid to get into Gaza, then they would have been starved. I personally believe that violence should be done against Benjamin Netanyahu, and I wish somebody would kidnap him and drop him off in one of the countries that is under the Hague's arrest warrant for his ass. Yes, that would be a start. But I figure if you can go through all that to kidnap him and get in there, there's some other things that could happen before you get. This man stood up at a press conference and said that in the it, this is not even gaslighting at this point. Six Shot has an amazing skill. Have I cussed yet? My international audience knows what I mean, right? I am cuss we're on, but there is no way. And this is the thing. Number one, everybody in the region is Semitic, so you can't be anti-Semitic. But me criticizing the Israeli government and Benjamin Netanyahu specifically has nothing to do with their religion or their ethnic belief of their religion. It has everything to do with the fact that in the face of starvation going on in this, you are gaslighting the rest of the world and tell us that we're not seeing what we're seeing with our own. Yeah, and yeah, fuck Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, I'm on the radio. I wasn't planning. I wasn't planning. So today I plan to do another fundraiser for Doctors Without Borders, but the tsunami warning went off. I didn't get it in. So all funds raised tonight from this program will be the same thing we did earlier. We'll be making a donation to Doctors Without Borders because they're starving too. Their people on the ground are starving also. And the one thing about getting into the country with, they can get into the country with the food they have on them, and hopefully they can exercise some kind of. They can also exercise pressure on Israel better than we are as a country. Yeah, because Donald Trump comes out and says he believes there's starving going on in Gaza, but you're still sending weapons to Israel, still sending the weapons to create that system in Israel. I do not feel like hearing Donald Trump try to take the moral high ground in this situation after you literally let 1,000 metric tons of food go to waste I don't know who keeps requesting up here, but if you all know, from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, Monday through Friday, I have a show. And if you're not a guest on the show, I would appreciate if if you want to be a guest, make a donation to our marathon, and I'll let you up and let you have a few minutes. Okay. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search engines because it primarily directs people off the platform. This is in line with our 47. At this point, at this point, I just be wondering how long it takes them to get to this. Yeah, if you're on the other channel, you can see this because I do it in the middle of it. You can see the appeal process. You can see the message. Yeah, I'm not even trying to block it out. Just leave it. Um, as you all know, if you all follow me, if you make sure you also follow me on other platforms. If you like this kind of content, if you like my conversation, you can follow me on other platforms where it will also be posted and will be live at. Okay, so yeah, this is what's happening. Uh, with, all proceeds from tonight's show will go to Doctors Without Borders. I prefer it here, but if you just have extra coins, you want to donate that way, that's fine. Whatever it is, we'll donate to Doctors Without Borders. Also, for those who happen to be homeless, I push back to the 8th of August to make sure we have funds for that. And then we'll be going to Topeka, Kansas for protests on August 2nd, Saturday. So that's where I'll be. If you all need to know, um, if you want to have listen, it's Topeka, Kansas, right? So, um, anybody you all know that want to have a bail bond party for TNathan, y'all go right ahead. I'll be in Kansas and I'll be on the steps. Every time I go to a state capital, I usually get in trouble. I think the only time I didn't get in trouble at a state capital is when I was in Oklahoma, when we went to Julius Jones' campaign. And that was because the Jones family didn't want me getting in trouble. I had to respect that because I went there to get in trouble. I was walking the distance between, hypothetically, I was walking the distance, just check the distance out between where we were protesting at and the governor's mansion. Uh, and then they put up barricades on me. They put barricades up. I know some of y'all were following me at the time. What we were doing. So thank you. Like I said, greetings and salutations, everyone. Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal and needs to be hauled in front of the Hague. His denial of obvious famine going on in Gaza that is of the creation of Israel is a slap in the face. And I said what I said. And my life has been restricted for those reasons. All right, so we're gonna come back to that. Like I say, all donations to go. Make donations tonight. All those donate. If you can do me a favor, when you make the donation, just put on there uh, DB. So I'll know if you want to donate to something else, like the meal for those who are homeless. Just put meal. But if you want to donate to tonight's fundraiser for Doctors Without Borders, just put DB on that. And anything else, you can write a comment. And if this is not enough, we do have PayPal and other ways to donate. Of course. Okay. My appeal was not approved. Just in case you're not on the other app watching this and you don't know, the appeal was not approved. Of course. Of course it was. Now, let's transition to this. And you see where it says, we talk about the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario famine unfolds in Gaza Strip food security. These are not people that just feel this way. These are people. All right, your live is not eligible. Why do y'all keep showing me this? I said okay. I said okay. They keep showing me the same message. Um, this is the worst case scenario from food experts, security experts. Right? This is not somebody making it up. We're not dependent on this information from um, from any agency or group in Gaza that you all might think is responsible for a terrorist act. We're taking this information from independent sources, independent news stations, and understand that the people bringing this information and sending this information are also in Gaza in suffering food insecurity. I was listening to the story today of a family, and the mother and father only eat every they eat they go 2 days without eating to make sure their children have food that they get in limited supply. I watched the little boy on a food delivery truck that had flour on it, and he had gotten everything off the truck, and he's on his hands and knees literally scraping together flour off the bed of the truck and putting it in his shirt. um yeah, and this is all an act, right? This just people acting. Yeah, we can't, we can't. I just can't. Um, and this is we're watching children. You know, we're watching children die, and people are making gaslighting excuses. This is this is all part of the plan to displace as many to displace Gazans. I mean, Israel's always on, oh, we don't want the land, we don't want the land, but you keep displacing them and you keep building settlements. And let's not, while we're focused on Gaza, let's not forget the atrocities that are happening in the West Bank, also, where Palestinians are being displaced. And you can't even blame it on Hamas because they don't exist in the West Bank. So, what's your excuse for what's going on in the West Bank? Um, Israel, yeah, anybody want to go that? As long as the kids are born, they don't care. Right, right. Just get them here. Once that's over with, we are watching. We're watching videos come out of Gaza of children that are so emancipated, that's suffering from severe malnutrition. Not slight. They're not just hungry. They're suffering from severe malnutrition, right? And we have this motherfucker on the world stage talking about nobody starving. Yeah, nobody. So we're gonna that's gonna be a running theme tonight. You're gonna hear more about it. I want to also talk about we got the tsunami warning going, watch and the warning going on. I will keep you. I got a live channel on my ear where we can also hear what's going on there. And while that's, I'm gonna have some other videos to show. I want to talk about some things I talk about, but I want to also say this before I transition. This is my transition. Um, Let me be succinctly clear, and this is going to be about the Epstein files, and this is between. This is not. Yeah, this is it. This is it. I'm gonna say this. Um, Everybody talking about the Epstein files. 98% of them don't give a damn about any of the victims, Democrat or Republican. They don't care about. I'm listening to people, and yes, it's political. It's not. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not. It's political, but nobody talking about it on. I saw about two people out of 100 people today talking about the Epstein files. And, and I was one of the two. I asked people, but what about the victims? What about what they want? What about what they need? Nobody thinks about it. Everybody's just using it as a political football. And it's a sad commentary in our society that that is what this boils down to. Did I say another cuss word? Did I say another one? That's the one in there. But yeah, nobody. I wish that no, they don't care about the victims. Nobody's trying to protect the victims. Everybody's just talking about how they can use this to score political points because they care about power and not about protection. And that's what I've always said. And I talked to Petra about this before because my thing has been that if there's a list released or if there's any implication of rich and wealthy people, that's not who people are going to go after. They're going to go after these young girls who were victimized 10 to 20 years ago and going to make them relive some of the most horrible points in their lives to score political points against somebody else. somebody, and that's my problem with the Epstein. Yes, that's my problem with this whole situation. And Petra will tell you, I've said this from the beginning. I know how they should play it. At the end of the day, I just want to acknowledge nobody cares about the victims. No, nobody cares about the victims. I'm here. Yeah, nobody cares about them. Everybody I troll on X, of the far right, they just want information, but no one is giving me. No one is saying what they're prepared to do with the information, except this one guy who is in jail for what he said he was prepared to do with the information. But how are you going to protect the victims? How are you going to protect the victims? How are you going to protect the people that are finally, there was a young lady, one of the victims of Epstein, and we're going to get into how Trump has transitioned. You remember when everybody was making excuses saying, and I said this last night, we were talking about Trump dismissed Epstein because he was creepy from his club, and I said there's no evidence of that. Y'all remember that? I said there is no evidence of Jeffrey Epstein being dismissed from Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club. And I don't think people know how private clubs work. There's a whole membership committee that you have to you voted in, and and even if you're terminated, there's a paper trail terminating you because you can sue. It's all kinds of things. So it's not Donald Trump's club that he can tell you you're dismissed without paperwork. Yeah, that's not how it works. But I told you all last night. I said, yeah, I don't believe it. Come to find out, Donald Trump doesn't even believe that. That's the reason why he was dismissed because of his charges. He said he dismissed him because he was stealing um, employees from from Mar-a-Lago. That's what Donald Trump said. He said, that, yeah, he was stealing employees from me, and some of them were young girls. And one of those young girls also unalived herself last year. She was one of the victims. She worked at Mar-a-Lago. She went to work for Epstein because of Giselle. Why I want to call this woman Giselle all the time. Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her, and she was assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and she unalived herself last year when this came back up. And that's why I say people don't care about victims. They don't care about they just care about how they think it's going to play out. And that's why it's never going to play out like they want it to. I think it with people like you know, I, yes, I have to walk that balance. I have to be true to myself. I have to say that yes, there's a balance there, but I'm acknowledging that that's just political, and I think that any side that gets this information is only going to utilize it, and it's going to harm more victims. Um, you know, so that's my spill on the Epstein case, and I just wanted you all to understand. That's why. Ah, yeah, covered a lot, huh? Covered a lot. How many minutes I got left? I think I did that all in 30 minutes. Yeah, yeah, got it in 30 minutes. Now we can transition to Cincinnati. Let's transition to Cincinnati. Y'all remember a fight that took place at the Cincinnati Jazz Festival? We're gonna take a look at this from two different angles. First, I want to play this report, and then we're gonna break it down, and we're gonna talk about
Chaos on the streets of Cincinnati. Video posted online appears to show a verbal altercation on the sidewalk. At one point, a man wearing a white shirt appears to slap the man in the red shirt. Then others jump in. As fists fly, one man falling to the ground, repeatedly kicked and hit for nearly a minute. Some in the crowd attempt to break up the fight. Moments later, it appears a man punches one woman in the face, knocking her to the ground. Lying still for nearly 10 seconds, blood spilling from her mouth until another woman helps her. Cincinnati's mayor releasing a statement Monday saying in part, quote, "I am outraged by the vicious fight that occurred downtown. It is horrifying to watch, and this unacceptable and disgusting behavior is intolerable in any part of our community." The shocking videos rapidly spreading on social media and instantly becoming a political flashpoint. Vice President J.D. Vance weighing in.
What I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person.
J.D. Vance's half-brother, Corey Bowman, is running to unseat Cincinnati's current Democratic mayor. Bowman releasing a statement calling for the resignation of the city manager over the weekend. As the videos and the controversy continue to catch fire on the right, some posting angles with captions focus on the race of those involved. Elon Musk posting on X saying, quote, "That guy almost killed this woman." An assistant attorney general saying, quote, "Our federal hate crimes laws apply to all Americans." The videos reviewed by NBC News do not show what led up to the fight, but police say they've already filed charges against 5 people as the investigation continues.
Anyone who put their hands on another individual during this incident in an attempt to cause harm will face consequences.
Evening, the National Weather Service has just issued a tsunami warning for all of Hawaii, parts of Alaska, and a tsunami watch for the entire West Coast following a massive 8.7 magnitude earthquake that rocked eastern Russia. In Hawaii, the National Weather Service says a series of powerful waves and strong currents may impact coasts on all of the islands. Residents and vacationers there have received an alert on their phones, alerting them that they are in danger, that they should get away from coastal waters and move to high ground or inland now. One alert is telling people to get to the 4th floor of buildings or higher. The estimated arrival time for the first tsunami wave in Hawaii is at 7:17 p.m. local time. Warning sirens are expected to go off shortly. Now, parts of Alaska are also under a tsunami warning. Here on the West Coast, a watch is in effect from the Mexico border all the way north to Washington state. This is the lowest level of the warning center's alert system, and that means that while the threat is not really known yet, residents should be prepared to take action if needed. And if generated, tsunami waves are not expected on the West Coast until late tonight or early tomorrow morning. This all comes after that huge earthquake that struck off the eastern coast of Russia, prompting evacuations and reportedly damaging buildings. The governor of the region said that the earthquake was very serious, and the strongest one there in decades.
Download to.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to follow up with that because that's happening now. Um, yeah, so that's where we are at. So, I saw that. I saw it. I see it, and I have a lot to say about what happened in Cincinnati. Um, y'all know how I feel. If you haven't seen my response, first we're gonna look at this. I want to look at this angle because you know how people run around talking about black mobs and all that. But I want you to look at the angle. This is the first video. Too bad your ex didn't fall into it. Wait, they said to move to the 4th floor when they don't know what is happening. No, that was for Hawaii. That was for Hawaii. That was not on the West Coast. They're saying it's in the lowest stage because they don't know what's happening. I mean, once the wave and the buoys in the Hawaiian area, once they start reading the information from them, I mean, people don't like a tsunami is doesn't travel as fast as people think it does until it hits shallow water. So until it gets into a low level area, then you'll get to understand how high the wave could be once it gets into shallow water. And you'll know that because you'll watch the water recede. It recedes from the beaches. So we'll get some information after or if there's a strike in Hawaii. Just because the 8.2, 8.8 magnitude earthquake happened, we still don't know if we're going to get tsunamis until you start getting signs in low water areas that you're getting a tsunami. That was people who were defending themselves. Those white boys thought they, yeah, let's get back to that. Because I want to get to this angle. Because nobody wants to talk about this angle. Hold on. Nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody want to talk about this. That this white man, this Russian tourist, did this. I told you, anti-blackness is a worldwide phenomenon. This man is supposed to be a Russian tourist, and this is what he did. Yeah, that's what he did. He put his hand on that
Goody, no, Goody, don't do that. Goody, let him go, Goody.
So I thought I'd take this opportunity
Okay.
to weigh in on this situation that happened in Cincinnati when they accuse an angry mob of black people attacking these poor innocent white people. See, oh, excuse me. This is not the story in Cincinnati. Um, hold on. This is lynching postcards, the history of lynching in this country. I must have got my pictures confused. Just one moment. Sorry about that. Here we go. This is the story I was talking about. Because, white people are running around here saying that a mob of angry black people with no provocation just attacked random white people in Cincinnati at the Jazz Festival. And we see that 5 people have been charged, in connection with that incident. And they're circulating the pictures showing white people laid out because they couldn't fight. But are you all just going to speed past the altercation that started all of this? Right here, when the white man reaches across and slaps the brother in the red shirt, we're just going to speed past that, right? This is so convenient, right? My suggestion is if you can't fight, maybe you should keep your hands to yourself. Because even in the news report, they acknowledged that the white guy slapped the black guy first. And let me clarify something for you all. You know what? I'm going to use this anyway. Because I need you disingenuous, translucent, troglodytic snow yetis to shut up with your hypocrisy because some snow roach bunny got laid out after her man put his hands on another man and she joined to jump into the fray also. Yeah, I'm gonna need you all to shut up. See, because the history of jumping one innocent person and stringing them up to anything higher enough to suspend them off the ground is not our history. You all were so enamored with it, you took postcards and sent them around the country. But I digress. You want to talk about angry black mobs attacking innocent black people? Let me tell you something, right? Because some of us understand the following. If I am with a group of my friends, a group of people that I consider enough to even be seen in public with them, and you just arbitrarily show up and reach out and put your hands on one of them, I don't care if they could fight. I am jumping in the fray because this wasn't just a one-on-one situation. You all see these people standing around. I don't know if they want some or not, but I'm going to bring enough fire that they're going to think about their next action. Now, if you don't want to get knocked out, my advice for you racists and bigots thinking that Trump is going to protect you all from this right and this left is for you all to sit down somewhere and be quiet, because it's called simple assault, and it is a first-degree misdemeanor in Ohio, and it carries a penalty of 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. I could raise that in a GoFundMe.
I
Y'all
probably
have the day
could.
you deserve.
I probably
And
could.
remember, if you can't fight, if you don't want smoke, keep your hands to yourself. And we might be getting to the point where you need to keep your comments to yourself also. Because if you sell wolf tickets, don't be surprised when a wolf shows up.
Yes.
Y'all have the day you deserve.
Now, act like I know everybody don't know what a wolf ticket is, but if you know, you know. So I'm saying I'm at that point. I tell you, I'm at the point where you raise your voice too loud to me. I'm ready. I'm ready because it's the only way you're gonna some people gonna learn. These people selling the cat is writing these checks that their ass can't cash. They selling wolf tickets and then be surprised when a wolf show up at the event, and all of a sudden now they want to play victim. Y'all saw that man put his hands on that man. They're gonna say, "Oh, these roaming mobs." Listen, we were at the jazz festival, minding our own business, just trying to have a good time. That's it. That's it. That's most of the time with black people. We're just trying to mind our business and have a good time. And he showed up. I guess he thought he was in Russia. I thought he was looking at the news reports of 1950 or something. I don't know what he was looking at, but he reached out and put his hand on that man like he was AT&T, and that man showed him why MMA is a thing in America. Yeah, and his friends. Yeah, I wish this. I wish I'd be mad they didn't leave me none. And then she gonna run over there like she from Themyscira. That's Paradise Island for you all who don't follow comic books. She ran over there like she was from Themyscira and she was Wonder Woman's cousin, and she got knocked the fuck out. She realized, Greg, you got knocked the fuck out. Yeah, how many people's these racists hate that we got? Listen, they 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 got they hate that we got cameras, but they hate we got a good mean right even more. That's what they feared even before we had cameras. That's why they showed up in mobs, right? But we showing them that hey, if we are violent, we learn from the best. We learn from the best. We just have a natural aptitude that some people don't have. So you might wanna leave someone else the fuck alone. And and I thank you, Nancy. I appreciate you saying we can raise $1,000 if I need it for simple assault. I'm the jury's still out on that. On how long? I know my mother would come up with it. My mother, grandmother, and my sisters and my nieces and nephews. They'd come up with it, but it wouldn't be because we put it out on TikTok. It'd be just because I have some people in my corner. But end of the day, 6 months in jail. The only thing people don't realize this is jail. That's not even prison. That's 6 months in jail. That means you gotta sit in the county jail for 6 months. I'd rather sit in prison for 6 months than county jail for 6 months. That's horrible. But I still could do it. I could do it. No problem. It'd be no problem, right? Because I'll be sitting there knowing that there's a viral video going on with somebody's teeth flying for them putting their mouth in their foot. And other people are going to see that and they're going to be like, yeah, maybe this is not a good idea. Yeah, maybe it's not good. Maybe it's not a good idea. So there is that. The money will be raised. I just don't. Listen, I don't ask questions. I'm in the gym on the treadmill right now, trying not to die. So that was one of my thoughts on Cincinnati. Now I had another person reach out to me, and they wanted me to They wanted to show me the following video. I'm gonna play all of her video first.
Ever notice that when black people build an all-black neighborhood, it's called empowerment? But when white people build an all-white neighborhood, all of a sudden they're the triple K. You want to move away from white people because it's healing, but when we do the same thing, all of a sudden it's a problem. Sounds like the real problem isn't segregation. It's the fact that you're not the one controlling it. Y'all don't want equality, y'all want reverse Jim Crow. So when white people move in, it's gentrification. When they move out, it's called white flight. Wonder where all this energy was for Freedom, Georgia. These people don't want to live next to white people, but the second we make our own communities, then it's hate. Black-only schools are okay, apparently. Black-only neighborhoods is progress. Black-only events is culture. But the second it's white-only anything, these people just want to run, cancel it, burn it down. So segregation is only fine when you invent it? Yeah, it doesn't look like they hate racism. Looks like they just hate not being the ones in control. White people are only the devil until you need clean streets and tax-funded schools. They say that they want inclusion, but every single time that we make something for ourselves, they swarm like flies. And let's be so for real, if white people vanished tomorrow, you wouldn't have anybody else to blame. No one else to beg, just you and your own results. If white people did 10% of what y'all do, it would be considered a hate crime. But when they do it, it's called a movement. Yeah, no, sorry, we just learned how to play your own game.
Aw, isn't that cute? Isn't that is so cute. I was like, oh, tell me you don't know any of the definitions of the words you used. Yeah. So, my response is a little long because I had to take each one of her points. So, let me know what you
Ever
think.
notice that when black people build an all-black neighborhood, it's called empowerment? But when white people build an all-white neighborhood, all of a sudden they're the triple K.
Ah, Red X01, is this you? And all this build up in your video is for you to compare Freedom, Georgia to the whites only town being created in Arkansas. And you want to talk about hypocrisy. Well, I could tell by the videos on your page that nature.
All right. Listen, I forgot this part was in there. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. I forgot this part. I didn't forget this part was in there. And I'm not gonna take it back. Like I say, this is not their point. If y'all want to unfollow me because of what I'm about to say, feel free. But I mean, I stand by what I'm about to say.
Created in Arkansas, and you want to talk about hypocrisy. Well, I could tell by the videos on your page that nature and your inbred family tree have already conspired to give you 12 reasons. Allow me to share these uncomfortable truths with you, and hopefully you could find the 13th. Let's get it. First, Red, I do understand that when you have a reef as a family tree, the reading and comprehension genes probably skip generations at a time. And me giving you this information, you're probably not the one with the reading comprehension gene. Maybe you can run along and go find them. First, the hypocrisy of you talking about the hypocrisy of black people creating black neighborhoods is not missed on the historical narrative, because black neighborhoods were literally created in this country and in all oppressed countries by the oppressor class. Yeah, by law, as a matter of fact. The segregation of black people in this country has been codified in law stretching back to pre-slavery time, post-slavery time, all the way up into the black laws and Jim Crow. And you're going to mention something about reverse Jim Crow in your video, but reverse Jim Crow required that we have access to federal laws to make it so. I don't expect you to understand the damn thing I just said, but moving right along.
I
You want to
don't.
move away from white people because it's healing, but when we do the same thing, all of a sudden it's a problem.
What exactly are you all healing from?
Somebody tell
Healing
me.
from the fact that a 400-year head start has created a wealth disparity in this country that is not just prevalent, but overwhelming, as $1 million wealth gap now divides white families from black and Hispanic ones? That's what you're healing from? Wait. Are you all healing from a criminal justice system that disproportionately affects people because of the color of their skin? Wait a minute. You all created that justice system. Oh, wait a minute. I got another one. Wait a minute. Maybe you all are healing from a medical apartheid system that disproportionately negatively impacts black and brown people to the point that black women are 3.5 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth because of that system. Is that what you're healing from? Or maybe you all are healing from, you know what? I could do this all day. But I digress. Continue.
Problem. Sounds like the real problem isn't segregation. It's the fact that you're not the one controlling it. Y'all don't want equality. Y'all want reverse Jim Crow.
And there it is. Segregation and Jim Crow, and who controls it? Yeah, she did fix her mouth to say that in the same 3-second span. Like the civil rights movement in this country wasn't about ending and outlawing legal segregation. And who was in control at that time? Oh, and by the way, did I mention redlining and how it was used to control and segregate black neighborhoods? Redlining can be defined as discriminatory practices that consist of the systemic denial of services such as mortgage, insurance loan, and other financial services to residents of certain areas based on their race and ethnicity. Yeah, did I? If I didn't,
Did
here
I?
it goes.
Did I
But
mention that?
keep going, Red. Keep going.
Jim Crow. So when white people move in, it's gentrification. When they move out, it's called white flight.
Red, if you just had a lick of comprehension, you might see how white flight and gentrification work hand in hand. Because gentrification is the process in which you go into an urban neighborhood and you develop it and you take it from a low value neighborhood to a high value neighborhood in a relatively short amount of time. The problem with that is that the neighborhood's original residents are often displaced because of the rising prices of cost of living and rent in that area. And white flight is the term given to the process in which white people fled those same neighborhoods that they're now moving back in to gentrify because they didn't want to be around black and brown people. And now the flip side of that, gentrification is now pushing black and brown people out of those areas because they can't afford it. So there is that. But continue. And we're just getting to the meat of your video.
Wonder where all this energy was for Freedom, Georgia. These people don't want to live next to white people, but the second we make our own communities, then it's hate. Black-only schools are okay, apparently. Black-only neighborhoods is progress. Black-only events is culture. But the second it's white-only anything, these people just want to run, cancel it, burn it down.
Now, before I get to the Freedom Georgia initiative and what you're missing intentionally about it, it's interesting that you talked about burning towns down, because I would like to see your historical narrative where black people have burned predominantly white towns down, or white neighborhoods down to the ground, and we'll compare it to my list. On my list, I have Tulsa, Rosewood, Elaine, Arkansas, and countless others. But just going to leave this right here for your non-comprehension ass to look over and not have a clue what I'm talking about. Moving on to where your comparison between the Freedom Georgia initiative and an all-white town being created in Arkansas. And you would think before anybody started that subtle, passive-aggressive, racist rant to justify their racism and bigotry, they would have taken the time to go to the Freedom Georgia initiative page and say, let me see the part where they're excluding white people. You would have saw them talk about economic empowerment, healing from racial trauma, building our own communities. But how are they going to build that
Wait a
community?
minute. Wait
By
for it.
being
Wait for it.
welcoming. Yeah, welcoming. If you had some reading comprehension, you would have gotten to that part in the Freedom Georgia initiative. We welcome all allies. I know you don't know what that word means any more than you know what BIPOC means. But we welcome all allies of BIPOC and corporations that wish to build meaningful relationships with communities of color to connect with us for doing good. Doing good. Not to create a town that if it existed during the creation of the Green Book,
Anybody know what
that
the
it would
Green Book
have
is?
been in the Green Book as a warning
But wait
for
for it.
what
Wait
towns
for it.
black
Wait
people
for it.
should avoid
Wait
because they
for
were
it.
sundown towns. That white only sundown town being created in Arkansas is not anything new for this country. As a matter of fact, it's indicative of the history of this country. You can go to this database, historical database of sundown towns, and you can hit Arkansas right there. Right there. You can go, it's interactive. You can go to this database and hit Arkansas.
Tap Arkansas.
And you will get a list of towns from A, D through H, H to N, and P to W of sundown towns in Arkansas that town is going to fit in with just nicely. Just remember also that the black schools, black colleges, and all you talk about were created because black people weren't allowed to participate
And see,
in
hold
your
on.
white schools and your white colleges for hundreds of years. And it's no surprise that an initial review found nothing illegal in a proposed whites only community in Arkansas. Nothing. But if you're going to talk, at least get your facts right. But what do we expect? When you have a wreath for a family tree,
Trigger warning.
you run along, have the day you deserve,
Trigger warning.
and I am going to challenge my followers to tell me what is my favorite number when dealing with racists and bigots. See you in the comment section.
All right. Did we miss anything? Get all of it? All right. GC, y'all hold on for just a minute because I want to see what some of you all are from. I got something I want to do. GCPR, as usual. Let me go to my remote control function here on GCPR. GCPR, thank you all for joining us. It's been great. I'll see you tomorrow. Same Wakanda station, same Black Panther time, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern. Nancy wants me to go live at 9. Uh, I'll be busy, but we'll work something out. Have a good one. Peace. All right, clear GCPR. Hold on. Hold on. Change is coming. Make sure I put everything over there. All right. Ah, you all know how nice it is to have everything. I can do this all without moving anymore. All right, so GCPR is off. But what I wanted to know, close this down. We've had enough. What do y'all think about my response to Red here? Um, yeah, like I said, if it offended anybody, I wish I could care. But if you know me, I don't care. It is what it is. But she was campaigning for that. So far be it from me not to give her what she was looking for. She was looking for it, so I'm pretty sure she got what she was looking for. Bum, bum, bum. Now, this is what I wanted to go over with you all. So this is what we're going to do. You all going to, this is the interactive database I was talking about in the video. This is the interactive database. So, you go to your state, like um, Mississippi. Go to Mississippi, get your location, and it tells you all the sundown towns that have been in Mississippi. Now, the thing about the Mississippi portion of this data blade, you see the ones with asterisks by 'em, Mound Bayou, New Africa, Renova, and Winstonville. Those were slave towns founded by slaves. Former slaves founded those towns and exposed. Exposed. And the only one that exists today is Mount Bayou because of economic freeze out. So they tell you those two. They tell you about those areas where economic um how it's going. So somebody give me a state. What's your state? Somebody give me their state. What's up, Cuban? Somebody give me your state. What state? What state you all think don't have any sundown town? Illinois. Illinois. The list is in progress. Let's get it. How, any particular any particular place in the alphabet you would like for me to go? Hold up. Got Illinois. I'm at Illinois now. Hold your request because I'm not gonna see it. Tell me when I ask. First one come, first up. This is Illinois. These are all the sundown towns that were in Illinois, past to present. All these were sundown towns. Chicago's not on the list, but there have been sections of Chicago that it was not safe to be in because you were black. There have been sections, but it was not the whole town. Chicago really came to that real easy. But these, I'm not even counting. This is Illinois, and I'm gonna tell you something. When people talk and we talk about the South, yes, there's sundown towns in the South, lots of them. But I'm gonna tell you, there are more sundown towns in the Midwest and the Northwest than there are in the South. How many are in South Carolina? South Carolina. Um, this is South Carolina list. This is the South Carolina list. Like I tell you, you're surprised at how many are in the North, in the Midwest, and the Northwest than you are of how many are in the South. Right? I Idaho was the next one I saw. Let's go to Idaho. Idaho. Idaho are these. These are, and let's talk about what sundown towns I couldn't see. You couldn't see what, Nancy? South Carolina? You didn't see South Carolina? I'll go back to South Carolina in just a minute. I'll go back to South Carolina in just a minute. No, no, Jazz. Don't get this deception, like because there are just this many, that there are just a few. It's what these cities represent. Also, these are county seats. These are county seats. These are not the little hamlet areas because there's a certain population requirement, a certain documentation requirement. These are county seats or areas of power in Idaho. And also remember, a lot of the population of Idaho was spread out over a lot of rural areas. So yeah, I always thought Moscow, Idaho. I always thought was interesting. I was all now. Let me go back to. I want to go back to South Carolina for now. All right, South Carolina, South Carolina. Got Nancy? Twin Falls, do you? That Twin Falls used to be a sundown town. Yeah, and these are sundown towns by um by ordinances or city ordinances or city indemnity. All right, some of these towns would literally have up welcome to signs, and on the welcome to signs is it was a welcome to yada yada yada. Um, if you're not white, you're just passing through. That was literally a signboard in on a sundown town. Now, what else? Dun, dun, dun. Back to the map. Oh, California. Boom, boom. I know I can't be playing music. I know I can't be playing. Hold tight. I y'all hear music? Y'all hear my music? Yeah, it's my easy listening music. I'm trying to get away. I'm experimenting. I'm trying to see if I can get away. And we might can't get away. But all right, this is California. All right, come on, cursor, get up there. All right, this is California. First, we're gonna do this. All right. First, I just wanted to show you how many of them there are. Oh, somebody like, yeah, jazz. Yeah, it's not elevator music. It's like it's easy fusion jazz. All right, so Anaheim used to be a used to be fun downtown. The ones on here that I think are going to surprise you, Bakersfield, and some of them surprise people because of the heavy concentration of brown people in these cities now. But yes, these cities used to be you just passing through cities. Culver City, Indian. I know Indian Wells should not surprise anybody after what Venus and Serena faced when they first started their professional tennis career in Indian Wells. In Indian Wells. Um, you were asking about Placerville. Someone said something about Placerville. Yeah, Placerville is right here. Placerville is on the mount on the south side. Yeah, from Philly, and they had a ninja day in a specific neighborhood when I was younger. I'm 57. I'm 57 also. Welcome. Thank you. Hold on. I gotta find that. I gotta find. So that's California. Um, yeah, 64. Let's look at let's look at PA. Let's look at PA. And I like it because they're in alphabetical order, right? In alphabetical order. Do you remember the name of the town in Philadelphia? Because uh, it's not on there, but this is the one. This is the one that gets me, right? This is the one that gets me. Because you all know what this town, y'all, who knows what this town is famous for? And the list come to the right on the screen. I I will shoot you the I will shoot you the web. Yeah. Satani. Every Groundhog's Day, I think of this. Every Groundhog's Day, I think of this. I'll be like, yeah, it is true. And here's the census. I want to look at the. Can y'all see the census information? If I do this, all right. I want you to look at the census information, right? That um.
How did I get my hands on this matching set by Comfort?
Ah,
They're always selling out. Comfort clothing is that mental health self-supporting brand that I'm sure you've heard about all over social medias because they've gone completely viral. Every single time that we're purchasing from Comfort, they're
Hold
donating a
on.
portion of our totals to mental health charities. I'm currently wearing the Cloud Zip collection in the color Blue Willow. I went for a size up medium in the zip up.
Where in
And
the
then
hell did
also
my
a
music
recoil in
go?
the matching sweatpants. Seriously, so cute. I love how buttery soft the material is. I love how they're slightly
So my music got interrupted. Commercial. All right. Fun fact: the movie was filmed town next to my hometown, and I helped with set clothing as a 16. What Groundhog's Day? Oh, oh, okay. Thank you, Olivia. You put the link up here. But look at and you have population breakdowns for these towns, right? And I want you to look here. In 1990, of the 6,000 of the 6,782 people that lived here, none of them were black in the 90s, all the way over to that. In 2000s, you got 14 black people there. You got 14. It took it to 2020. In the 2020s, you have 76 black people, 43 Asian, 122 identified as indigenous, 105 as Hispanic, and 146 as other. But all those time periods before that, yeah, and that's the um, and that's what's so good. What I like about this list is you get the population breakdown um, of those lists. Where is she needs to shut up? Yeah, yeah, she needs to shut up. She interrupted. I put on. I thought that was like my um my lava lamp. That's supposed to be like my lava lamp station. I didn't know they had commercials on it, but this is this is very helpful because I tell people be like, oh, my state, we don't have racism. People from the north and from the northwest are good about that. Like you take Oregon. Oregon, the whole state was formed as a sundown state. Oregon, the whole state was a sundown state. That's why you go on here and you look at these, and it's like, yeah, the state of Oregon, even though Oregon, Seattle, that area, and Washington are so progressive now, yeah, they were introduced as states that black people were not allowed to pioneer in. So, yeah, these were states that they were not allowed to pioneer. It was illegal to be there. Yep, that's what I say. When people talk about segregation, I'd be like, you all act like black people would just no. From our time enslavement in slave city in the slave portion that we couldn't be out of after night, you don't realize that unless you worked in the house and had a specific function, you were not allowed to leave the slave quarters areas after dark. Yeah. So don't tell me about segregation. Um, oh, let's take this one. let's take let's take Superman's home. Let's take Superman and Dorothy's home state. Yeah. Look at this. These are not just city breakdowns. These are whole counties in Kansas. These are whole counties in Kansas. Some of them. It's so funny because I think like some of them have obvious indigenous names, right? And it's the whole county, the whole county, and the population breakdowns are wild. These population breakdowns are wild. It took to the into in the predominantly white all the time. Predominantly white all the time. None of these places were burned to the ground. And I think that's just a testimony to the fact that I did exist. I like that if you click on the towns, it gives you a brief summary of there too. Right, it does. It gives you the summary of there. I like the population breakdown. I like learning what the first black family moved in. And you notice, I'm gonna tell you, sometimes the first black family to move in wasn't the black family that actually took root. Um, yeah. And sometimes, like I say, when you go back to look at the Green Book, the Green Book will tell you. You know, people were talking about we're moving somewhere. They were. I don't think people understand. I don't think white people understand why we all know what the Green Book was from childhood. I mean, my parents had a copy of the Green Book. It was put out every couple of years. There was a new edition of the Green Book, and we had them in our homes. Like y'all buy maps. We bought the Green Book because we could always we could figure out. And just in case you couldn't figure it out when you're driving, because you would have to plan your trip to make sure that you didn't stop overnight in any of these places. That was the whole thing of the Green Book. That in daytime it might be um, idealistic and lilac looking, but at night you knew not to be there. Don't even stop at a hotel, motel, whatever motels then. Yep, it's like they think we're still disconnected from each other. Right. You never knew that, Grace? Yeah. The Green Book was if you traveled at all as a black family, you had a copy of the Green Book in your glove compartment. You had copies of the Green Book in your glove compartment. Yep. Because you never you wind up, especially if you were traveling. I'm gonna tell you, we used to more traveling outside the South than inside the South. We knew listen, we knew where the places were in the South. It was racism in the South is overt. It's not covert. It's overt. But in the Midwest and the Northwest, they had that special van of covert racism. It was like they would talk about the Klan during the day, but they would enact laws that made sure you wouldn't let you know you shouldn't be caught in your town after dark. And they were always saying, or they tried to frame it as, well, we don't want vagrants and unsafe conditions in our town at dark at night. When Sally Jane is walking the streets home. Really? What was Sally Jane doing out that she was walking the streets at night anyway? But I digress. I digress. I digress. You learned about it in college, the Green Book? Yeah, I know. The movie. As somebody who likes history, I don't. There's some portrayals of history. I don't like the literary license they take, even though they might stick true to what the story was. But it's like my same problem with Hidden Figures. If you've ever seen Hidden Figures, I love the stories of the black women in Hidden Figures. I know them all, but I hate the way that the movie made it look like Kevin Costner had to be a white savior. I didn't like the idea. I didn't like the idea that we took a little away from these women's accomplishments by looking like um, she explaining to him why one of the scenes that really boiled my blood was after she explained to him why she took such long lunch breaks and like you never noticed that there are no um, bathrooms in this place for black people. Then he thinks, oh, and then he goes and makes the bathroom like, oh, this is going to be a bathroom for all women. You realize you didn't address the issue of the racism just because you knocked down a sign. I know everybody's not like that, too, but I just look at these things and I was like, "Yeah, that's not just it. That's not. It's not the sign. It's the mentality that put the sign up that you're not addressing because you should have went to talk about people work here. And then you can't just talk about it just in terms of your pet black people. No, that's another thing you notice that in these movies, you have, oh, I'm not a racist to you, because they play these parts and they make these people your pet black person. I'd be like, you're just talk about implicit biases, right? I was having a conversation about implicit biases, and I was talking about because people will think that because oh, I have these ideas, but you don't fit the mold. I hate it when people tell me because they'll listen to me speak and they'll say something. I had this in the military a lot. They say, "Oh, you're not like those," and I'll be swung before I even. Yeah, I'm just like those. I'm just like them. What do you mean I'm not like them? How am I not like them? My right didn't hit you hard enough. Yes, I stayed in fights. Yes, because that's sometimes the only way to get your point. Because I'm not anybody's pet. Only green book I knew about was the SNH stamp green book. Yeah, we had those two. We had those two. They made it about him, not her. Right. Because that's what they do. If you look at a lot of historical movies that people think are racially um, ambiguous or addressing racial issues, most of them just center some white savior, even if it's not historically accurate, or they blew the historical accurate nature of it out of. I've watched the Loving Story. You don't know who Mildred Loving is? Um, the, Loving versus West Virginia, black man, white woman getting married. Anyway, I watched the Loving Story, right, and not taking anything away from Richard because I liked Richard from what I've read about him and what I've heard about him, but they focused on Richard's acceptance of his wife. Like, hello, you're not going to talk about, just going to speed past the fact that yes, her acceptance of him, her love for him, that also caused her backlash in her own community. But we're going to focus on what Richard had to go through to be with her, and not what she had to go through to be with him. Or the, yeah, no, no, no. What's up, sunshine? No. Yeah. And that's what I say. So stories like that, I like the fact that the historical narrative about what the actual legal consequences are accurate. But yeah, they take these literary license with these love stories. It's like, mm, that didn't happen like that. So it just, it's like love hate. It's like when I hear people talking about remakes. And they were like, "Oh, I'm tired of remakes. They always want to remake something and put different characters in it." I remember the Little Mermaid, and I heard all that back. So I said, are they taking the Little Mermaid, the original, off the shelf? Because if y'all are so enamored with that one, go watch it. I tell the same thing to people, but I said the same thing to people who were crying about a remake of The Color Purple. I said, did I miss the point that you can't get the original Color Purple anywhere? I missed that one. Y'all can't go watch it. I don't understand. When I hear people cry about stuff like that, that's what I think. I'm like, no, they burned all the original copies, and you can't get an original copy anywhere. If you listen, we talk about people who will talk about things like that, and it's like they never saw the original. I don't care. I'll be like this. I like the color purple. Number one, because it was well acted. I liked it. But also, hell, let Alice Walker make her money. I was like looking at black people and they were talking about we don't need another color purple. Oh, Alice Walker needs to get paid like she didn't get paid for the first color purple. Yeah, we need another color purple. Matter of fact, I think there's a lot of remakes. I want people to get paid. Remake because they're gonna get their money just to make them. I don't care what they. Yeah, y'all are weird to me. I just want to say it. Some of you all are weird. When I hear that, well, Hollywood has lost the ability to make original movies. Hollywood makes thousands of original movies every year. Every year. Sinners is a prime example. Sinners is an original movie. But it's not that they don't make original movies. You just don't patronize original movies because you're too busy crying over a remake. Yeah, if you don't want to see it, don't go watch it. If Hollywood will get the message, But at the end of the day, I don't even see why it matters. I don't understand why people get bogged down in, oh, they made another remake. We have 1,000 channels on you got literally 1,000 channels. I have 1,001 thanks to Rain. But you have 1,000 you have 1,000 channels. If you don't find something you watch, that's a failure of you. 666. Um 666, I like the idea that I have a love-hate relationship with Tyler Perry. Anybody who knows me knows that. I admire him for hiring black people that will otherwise would have failed through the cracks and giving them career. I do admire that. I also can be also can be shamelessly watching something like Black is Beautiful and then want to tear apart the interest circles of some of the character development in some of the Madea movies. But at the end of the day, I watch bad white movies and paid to go see them. I also support bad Tyler Perry movies because it still supports black people who need jobs. But 666, what I liked about 666 is it brought the story to people who didn't know the story. The literary license, that's still kind of my thing. But I still, if that was one of the exceptions, because I wanted those women to have their flowers. Most of them have passed, but I wanted the history to know who those women were and their story and how they overcame people who didn't think they could succeed in doing it. I like the kids are watching our childhood movies and making fun to watch. It does. I love The Color Purple. My daughters grew up being in the arts, so we love musicals. Yeah, I did. I did, and that's a good point, Jazz, because I can sit down. Um, I don't want to hear it. All right, I don't want to hear it. Um, Freaky Friday, Freaky Friday. Yeah, I like the remakes they made because now the crime snatchers at that age when they're watching the new Freaky Friday, and I can watch it with them and get and watch them get the jokes because it's almost it's literally the same. It's literally the same. It's like, and I don't mind. It's like it's nice watching it. Trying to decide if the movie The Best of Enemies is a good movie. I think it depends on what you bring to the table. I think it depends on what you bring to the table. Yeah. Once again, um, I understand. I know it's hard. Times are hard, but everything. I'm running a little long just talking because we are having a fundraiser for Doctors Without Borders. If you would like to donate, um, just hit the cash app. If you can, if you can't, don't worry about it. We will still do it. I've watched so many. The new one, I know I haven't watched the new one on Katrina. The last one I watched came out in 2018 on Katrina. Because usually I try to watch. I love documentaries. I love documentaries. That's what's so hard. It's like Sunday is supposed to be my reading day. You all know I read all through the week, and that's why I usually watch documentaries while I'm reading. Yes, yeah, my bestie would tell you that. I remember when she first thought I wasn't paying attention to her because I was literally reading something while watching something and listening to her. And yeah, I do. That's the way my brain is. My brain, if it's functioning, it has to have multiple tasks to do at the same time. And it was like, it had to. I would be in class. I'm not telling y'all. Y'all already think I'm a bad person. But yeah, I'll be in class plotting out what were my responsibilities to the block after class. Like if I needed, yeah. I am I the only one? I know, I probably am, but am I the only one who somebody said they want to fight after class, and you're literally planning to fight out in your mind? Was I the only one that did that? It's just me. I wasn't sitting there. I was planning out how I was going to shine. I was like, I'm gonna shine. Should I shine? Should I shine like this? Yeah. Yeah, I'll be sitting there. I'll be like, I'm gonna shine on you. You call me out. Yeah, and my girl gonna be there too. Oh yeah, I'm gonna shine on you. I'm gonna shine. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I did that. That's how my brain works. Even right now, I'm thinking about I gotta take Bella for a walk. Gotta, just things we gotta do. To, class was today. I think about some of the things kids told me while I was online and all that. And they thought I come from one way. I come from right. That it's like they say, "Oh, we're gonna meet on the court," and they always expecting. Number one, I'm cutting half of last class anyway, and I'm gonna already be wherever you said you all gonna be. I'm already there. Yeah, I'm there already. I It's like protest. People don't realize I always go early. If y'all see me pull up, y'all see he early. He pull up early because I'm going there to scope the area out. If I don't, if it's far out of town and I go like days before, yeah, I'm scoping the area out so I can have egress. My ass was always in trouble growing up, and my thing was I didn't. I'm gonna tell you. If y'all have figured out, I was well liked, even my teachers that knew, they still liked me because either I kept their classrooms in check for them. I would keep the classroom in check because I loved books. I've always loved books. If you were teaching, I was making sure that I was learning. So that means I didn't need any disruptions in class. I'll be like, I'll hear her talking. I'm gonna get this. Y'all can sit there and do whatever y'all want to. Quiet. Yeah, I would do that. That was me. That was me. Uh, if you were teaching, I was listening. Uh, I would be outside on the block. I would have I kept comic books in my back pocket. I kept comic books because I always read. But whatever the reading assignment was, I I've always been able to read it. They'd be like, "You got a week to read this book." I'd be like, "I'm gonna be finished with this book before tomorrow." Born and raised in Chicago, Catholic school chick, smart, but you know, right? Yeah, we're gonna do all that. We're gonna do all that. So that's what we're up to. Gonna raise money, for those who have to be homeless. Um, I told you we pushed it back to next week, so I can have time to raise more money. Knock them up. And I'm still gonna come out with my pocket. I know, but we got that coming. We got, I told you Topeka protest on the second. I've never been to Topeka protesting, so I don't I don't know what the video content will be like there. Because although I used to have the glasses, I used to have my glasses that I wear that I wear and film at the same time. But somebody, 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 yeah, somebody decided that they wanted to play with my glasses. And I guess she thinks her teeth aren't sharp. While she won't bite down hard on me, I guess the plastic did didn't understand the assignment. She was trying them on, yes, in her mouth. She just it is and it's also my fault because I had them in. She takes she like how your dogs like your clothes. Yeah, so really I don't think she meant the glasses were just in the pockets of my hoodie, and where she grabbed my hoodie at, the glasses were in the pocket. So it's not like she did it intentionally. Even if she did, I have no anger for Bella. I just can't work it up. I'll be mad for like 3 seconds, and then she'll look at me, and I'll be like, "Fuck them glasses. They shouldn't have been in my look. They shouldn't have been in my. They should have been in my hoodie pocket anyway. Fuck them glasses." Yeah, right, right. It's them glasses' fault. They should have an alarm on them when you leave them that far away anyway. Yeah, yeah. You always play with my hoodies. You never put your teeth. You bite down on them, but you never had teeth marks in my hoodie. It's them glasses' fault. It's the glasses' fault. Yeah, they shouldn't have been in that. As a representative of Bella, we emphatically deny these allegations. No, they're true, but it don't matter. It don't matter. Bella Bella don't know how much they cost. And she don't care. She don't care. But it is what it is. So I don't know. Y'all know I don't like to walk around until I know the situation or what's up, and I don't know who's gonna be there. Right. To stop lying on Pinky and Bella. No, anything. Pinky is intentional. Pinky, Pinky is possessed by baby white Jesus demons, and then he don't want to get them out. Yeah. Pinky is possessed. Don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. Nothing, nothing for you as far as Pinky's concerned. She's possessed. All right. Anybody got anything that I need to address before I leave, or anything tomorrow? Pinky is an angel. So is Lucifer. So is Lucifer. Wait, what you're saying there? Pinky is an angel, right? Not an ancestor. Yeah. Yep. JoJo has figured out how to bark at me for treats now. Oh, how old is JoJo? How old is JoJo? 5, and he just figured out how to bark. Oh, for treats. Okay, I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, I feel that. Oh, Bella is Bella is number one. She has to hear what you all get from me. Just imagine, Bella gets that all the time. Like I read, I talk out loud when I'm reading. I lecture the whole ass programs. She gets all that. She is smart, and then she will, she come over and she look at me like, all right, you finished walking, or we need something to eat. And then even if she do something that's marginally wrong, she'll look at me with them eyes, and it's like, ah, I know you didn't mean it. It's all right. I know. And she has attachment disorder. So Sunday, I spent, you see, I was out with the crumb snatchers all Sunday afternoon. So she, so you come back home, and yeah, it's almost like you know how your partner will be mad at you, but they don't want you to go in a different room with them without them going in, even if they're not fussing. That's Bella. Bella stalks me if I go for too long somewhere. She gonna stalk me. She gonna come in. Like she'll go play with Pinky for a little while, but only because she know I don't go out the windows in here. She don't mind me coming in this room if I have the door open without her. But if I close the door, she gonna whine outside the room until I let her in. And we'll go to the other bedroom up front. She, as long as the door is open, she good. Door closed. I mean, take a shower or get on the toilet. You leave the door open. Like leave the door open, or else I'm gonna sit out here and whine the entire time you're in there. Good night. I got another media shower live. I need to go. Oh, you got a media shower? Send me the link. I'm finna go because I gotta get my chief of security. Gotta work. And I know y'all gotta work tomorrow. So send me a link um to the secure to the shower. I might put it up while I'm reading. All right, you all. First, let me get out of here on the YouTube. All right, peace YouTube.